What's happening?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
You're clowning already before the show even started.
Sunday night service, we back.
Welcome. It's been a while. We welcome you once. We welcome you twice. We welcome you in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
To Religiously Incorrect.
We are brought to you today by Phillips Care Training. The proud owners of High Street Fitness, 277 High Street in Cortland, Ohio. Come down there and get your body right, get your body tight, get your, get your
glutes and your pecs,
your gluteus and your abs, and get ready for
get your toes swole.
Get real cute for the Stella Awards.
Get them kneecaps defined. Get them neck rolls out.
Do some toe curls. Do some toe curls before you get a pedicure.
Do some nose presses.
Do it. Bend your neck.
Right. Oh, that's awesome, man. How you been feeling, Pastor
Man,
Jeff?
I'm great, man. I can't complain. Everything is good. Everything is gravy. You know what I'm saying? Hey. I mean, ain't be any better. I'd be twins. You know what I mean?
Better we be twins.
You can't. Y'all can't handle two of me.
You can't handle double the fun.
Can't handle two of me.
Double the fun. Double the trauma.
Hey, Lady Dela Cruz, how are you?
Yes. What's happening, Star? Good to see you. You all know what to do. Hit the like, hit the share, say hello, bring somebody in. We going in one more time. What's the date? It's like second Sunday in August, man.
Yeah, it is. It's almost summer, almost over. I'm about to shut down the pool. Listen, talking about going in.
Talking about going in.
There's some people who done went into the ex-president's house.
Oh, we can hear.
Yeah, okay.
Mike got that my phone. He got that phone from the
not the iPhone.
He got the my phone from the Dollar General. So
some folks that went in.
They went in.
Oh,
they went in. You know how they be in church talking about we going in? Oh, they went in.
They went in unannounced.
They went in 20-some people deep.
They went in my beautiful house.
They went into the upper room
with my G.
They raided Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago, they raided it.
Is it Mag-a-Lago? I think Mike said Mag-a-Lago. Jeff, what is your take on this? Because I'm a Twitterer now. Twitter is my place because nobody's really on Twitter.
Right.
And that's where I say my crazy stuff. So don't follow me on there. That's where I say my craziness. But it was going on. I mean, all GOP people. I probably had to mute like 100 GOP accounts because they were going ham. But it felt to me like these were pre-written scripts because everyone was saying the exact same thing over. It was like they were trying to flood and spam the internet. What was your take on what is this and where is this going?
Well, it is not. I don't think it's what people are saying, or at least the Republicans are saying. I don't think it's a ghost chase. I don't think it's
not a witch hunt.
It's not a witch hunt. I think it's real, and I think the man took documents, left the White House, took them with him. He was supposed to been brought those back.
It sounds like they asked him nicely on multiple occasions. Now he's saying, that he declassified them. That still don't mean you could take stuff. Well, they also say that he thinks the FBI planted them.
Well,
planted evidence. So I mean, they were talking about, unwarranted, unjustified, first it was not even a big deal. This is just stuff that he's entitled to take. Then it was, we were working with them. And then what you said, I mean, it's all there.
Here's my biggest takeaway from this.
Okay.
The same individuals who were backing the blue, are now defunding the FBI.
Blue Lives Matter.
How do you
same
switch?
People who say Blue Lives Matter are saying abolish the FBI.
I mean, it's like it's like it can't just be right for one and wrong for the other.
Listen, this white is always right. So it's never really about Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. What it's always really about,
Trump matters.
It's about white folk. It's about white folk matter.
Absolutely.
That's what it really is. And you're absolutely right. Suddenly, blue lives don't matter.
Mm-mm.
What happened to just comply?
Just comply.
What What happened to do as you're told and do as you're ordered and then fight it in court later?
Everything would be right. If you would just do as you were told, if you guys would just
if you people would just okay. So here's my thing. And this goes beyond this particular search. I mean, the subpoenas before the January 6th committee that all the Republicans that were involved are getting. You got some of these folk in Georgia and other places being called to testify over what they may have participated in to overturn the election. And they're all saying the same thing. And it's just hilarious to me. And I'll tell you why it's hilarious to say they're just picking on us. They are being petty. They are illegally searching us. They are targeting us. I'm saying, welcome to being Black.
Please.
Welcome to be we are
used to it.
It is sweet. I mean, it feels like sweet karma to watch people recognize what it's like to be Black. Absolutely. Do you know how many people can't even drive down the street without having their car searched? Do you know how many people have been coerced into testifying, taking plea deals, threatening their house, ruining their reputation? Welcome to the Black experience. To Trump, Lindsey Graham, all of the administration. Welcome. Having your assets seized with no recourse. Welcome. Having police officers walk to your house and break your safe open. Welcome to the Black experience. And I literally, to me, and here, what's crazy? And this is religiously incorrect, right?
Right.
I don't even care if it's illegal.
Hey.
I don't even care if it is a totally unjustified search. It's about time you got a taste of your own medicine.
Absolutely. We was talking at work.
Matter of fact, I hope it is illegal and unjustified.
We was talking at work the other day how when these crises and stuff arise, that it seems like our Caucasian friends, our Caucasian counterparts get all upset and they go crazy when the economy is down and things like that. Listen, we've been learning how to deal with this.
We've been here.
We ain't nobody about to commit suicide.
We ain't about to jump off no bridges.
We've learned how to make the bacon, use the bacon grease to make the French fries.
You better have cornbread for dinner.
We've learned from grandma them that you can use baking soda for multiple things.
Brush your teeth with it, clean your house,
wash your dishes. Listen. It's always some baking soda at the back of the
deodorant. Make a deodorant paste. We know what to do.
We know what to do when these.
We're not panicking. But here's what I am going to do to all of my enraged white brothers and sisters, all of my Caucasian Christian brothers and sisters, my conservative who are just feeling that the country is just falling apart. It's over. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray.
I pray for
and maybe we can have a unity prayer service to discuss your issues. And if we all just came together and saying, we are the world. Because is that not what happened when they shooting Black bodies? Oh, I'm going to pray for you that the world would be better.
You know what I want to see?
Exactly.
You know what I want to see? I want to see them riot.
You want to see them riot?
I want to see a
look up any NBA or college championship or NHL championship. That's what a riot.
What's the whitest town?
The whitest
town you can fit. Not a Watts riot, but I want to see
Newton Falls.
I want to see a Nevada riot.
You want to see you want to see like a Texas riot or Alabama. Yeah, Salt Lake City riot.
That's what I want to see.
No, the Mormons don't riot. They're too nice. But that's these are unprecedented times.
They are.
They are. And by the way, the president is being raided because he deserves to be raided.
Absolutely.
Just not forget that.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you think. And I'll tell them to their face. And I'll say what a pastor, it was a Caucasian brother who was talking about a member of his church who, when he the pastor, after years and the Black Lives Matter and the shootings with the George Floyd thing happened, he finally got up and made a statement about, the racial inequities. And I think it was after January 6th too, and how things had gone so far. A member came up to him after church and said, Pastor, I'm leaving your church. I can't believe you got up there and condemned, these patriots and da 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 da. I and my friends have a militia group in a, sparse part of the county away from, but out in this area, we have a militia group and we've been training because we know a civil war is coming and blah, 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 blah. And the pastor said to me, I didn't know it was that bad. And my answer to him was, because you didn't listen to Black folks.
Absolutely.
We've been telling you this dude was dangerous and the people that follow him are dangerous. And I said, Black people have been through so much trauma and turmoil. We've seen it for generations. I ain't even seen it with my own, but it's in my bones because it comes down through the bloodline, through our ancestors. Absolutely. And I said, Black people know what we're looking at when we see it. It's almost like if a new crazy guy became the chancellor of Germany or something, the Jews would be like, yo, we've seen this before.
Right.
Yo, we know this isn't going to hit well. Why is he investing in forts and stuff? Like, we know what we're looking at. And then of course he said, I have a few Black members. I said, no, they weren't the right ones. Because if they're already going to your church, right, they're already,
and don't think that there are some people who are wearing our colors but aren't on our team.
Thank you very much.
They are wearing our colors but are not on our team. They are just as Trumpish as the rest of them. That does not make them right, and that does not make us wrong.
Right. It is tough. It is tough. So hey, this has been an unprecedented time. It is going to be an unprecedented time. It's going to be amazing. But you know what's even more amazing?
Joe got our back.
It's the
Sleepy Joe.
Listen, I would take Sleepy Joe, Brandon, whatever you want to call him, Dark Bread. I take him all day.
Yes.
And I pay $5 a gallon just to keep him. But by the way, thanks, Joe. I filled up my car for less than $40.
Yes,
thanks, Joe. Y'all know what time it is. Meme of the week.
Meme of the week.
Because it's meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
Meme of the week. Meme of the
week. We thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
We are. These are all jokes. We are just playing.
All right, what we got? How you pray at church? How you pray at home?
Let me say this. Let me say this about this meme because
go ahead. What do you want to say?
Let's just be honest. You're a pastor.
I'm a pastor.
And we go out to eat a lot. All of us church folk go out to eat a lot.
We love to eat.
And they just expect us. They expect us to start that meal off with the prayer. Yes. We just be eating.
I got 2 biscuits in my mouth at the same time.
We just be eating halfway through. Listen, I prayed once in the morning. That covers the whole day.
Listen, I don't even know if I believe in even saying grace. Like what? I mean, at this point, have you ever been back in one of them kitchens? Is this really gonna help? I mean, I'm saying though. I'm saying, okay, the one time I believe that the doctrine of saying grace is one of the most exploited and overused doctrines. I'm not saying that it's not in there, but it doesn't appear to me that God will just let us die of diarrhea or something if we don't say grace. And by the way, and I don't know how we got on saying grace, but we'll bring the meme back up in a minute. But is it even helpful to say grace when the food you're eating is killing you?
You got a cherry Pepsi.
You got a big chitlins and hot sauce and hog maws and
fried
gravy.
Pork chops.
And got the nerve to say, let this be nourishing to my bodies. No, you might as well just be snorting crack. I mean, let this be nourishing to my body. Doesn't make sense. But to the point of prayer.
I don't know why I got that.
Maybe it's the comforts. And you know what? We just have a posture that is appropriate for the places that we're in. Yeah. And it goes back to, I always say, believe it or not, nobody wants to.
So you and your wife don't get on your knees and pray together?
Oh, we get on knees. I mean, and there's some calling on Jesus. I mean, we called on the Lord.
I hope Lady Shamika is not on here.
We call on the Lord. I mean, believe you me. Some tarrying going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
grab hold to the altar. But what I'm saying is, nobody wants to admit it. I don't care how deep you are. Worship includes performance.
Absolutely.
And people who come to church behave differently, not just the preacher. Y'all always like to joke about the preaching voice. No, y'all got a posture and behavior too.
Oh, absolutely.
And there might be one or two that really like to play church at home and really do that. But y'all don't be all up on the couch like you do be at the altar. And don't do that. You be half asleep, fall asleep, watching TV, wake up, then you lie and telling people you're gonna pray for them and you don't.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, there's always a posture and a performance to what we do with our religious experiences. There's just no doubt about it. It just is what it is.
Absolutely.
So that was a good one, Big Mike.
Love it.
How you pray at church and how you pray at home. We want to thank our sponsors, Phillips Care Cleaning Service. They do residential and commercial floor cleaning, basic cleaning, carpet, upholstery. If you need it done, they can do it. Don't waste your time. Let them handle it. The side of the van says, we take care of the mess that causes you stress. And I said, that ain't a preaching line. I don't know what is, but check them out for everything you can think of. Carpet clean, steam clean, even cleaning out and other maintenance around the house. 330-219-7916. And while you're at it, it's still summertime and we finally got some rain. So get that grass cut. Lawn care starting at $30. And I'm still amazed they're doing $30 lawns because they set these prices before inflation. So God bless you, because I sure would be charging at least $55 if it was me. But call my man Fernando or look up Phillips Care LLC on Facebook. Call 330-219-7916 and tell them Religiously Incorrect sent you. If you'd like to be a sponsor of this fine program, you can reach out to us at religiouslyincorrectpodcast.com or religiouslyincorrectpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know that you got a business you'd like to promote. We'll work out the details and spread the word about your entrepreneurial endeavor. And we'd be so glad to help you out. Listen, today's subject, if we were to put a tag on the text.
Tag on the text, yes, sir.
It would be time to go. Now, I was going to say time to make that change. Because, that's the oldest church joke for young people in the world. If you ask somebody, what time is it? They're going to say, it's time to make that change. But it's time to go, Elder Rosetta Carter. And today, Pastor Jeff, we're talking about outreach, evangelism,
yes,
and community engagement. It's been a while since we've hit this. We talked about it before the pandemic. Then we talked about the virtual world, and how that would work. But I think we just need to take stock at our church, and you've done some things. You guys have some things planned. Pastor Jeff and I are both no novices to community outreach and evangelism.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, Pastor Jeff, you started as an evangelist.
I was
and talk about that.
Evangelist.
Talk about that experience and what you did with that.
I was ordained as an evangelist by Bishop Bronner from New York and Apostle Loretta Pernice. Started our evangelism team. Matter of fact, before I even started that, when I was at New Jerusalem, I was over the evangelism team. I came there, was over the evangelism team, got ordained as an evangelist. Just something I love. I think outreach is something that I think is missing a lot in churches today. I think, we have the Jehovah's Witnesses who go door to door.
Right.
We have the Mormons who are out there. They
be on them bikes and stuff, man. They be mountain biking.
They was downtown the other day.
They will meet you. I saw a skit where they was somebody was skiing and the Mormons came up beside them on the mountain. I'm like, some dedicated brothers.
Right. But and I think one of the things that is heavily missing, especially in our Black Baptist churches, and I would say in particular Black churches, period, is the aspect of evangelism. I am now the overseer of evangelism and the Lifted Reformation. So I think it's something that I don't think it's not only missing, but I think it hasn't been properly taught.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's something that we kind of hoop and holler at people, but we don't actually teach it through. And then because it's such an actionable endeavor, especially outside of the church, you can teach on praise and do praise right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The way the preacher and the teacher you if you preach and teach on worship, you'll probably go into worship preaching and teaching on worship.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen. But evangelism is different, because evangelism is you're teaching and talking about it, but then you have to go out at usually some other time.
Absolutely.
And have the energy and here's the crazy thing, and maybe this is something we need to kind of unpack a little bit, because the outside is so drastically different than the inside. No matter how much you talk about being outside while you're inside, once you get outside, you kind of don't know where to start.
One of the biggest things, we think that trading teams is actually evangelism.
Oh no, that's like jumping from fishbowl to fishbowl.
Right. So
that's what,
because we drafted Pastor Todd from second to progressive, we think we've evangelized. No, he's already saved. Right. He's already established. He already knows the word. You didn't evangelize. You didn't get any fish. You didn't, go deep.
Oh, I got some fish. I just went to Red Lobster to get it. Somebody else already cooked it.
It's already
cleaned it and cooked it for me. And I will take your members. I mean, don't get it twisted. I come in your parking lot, be like, yo, I go in there like Suge Knight. If you want to be with a real church, with a pastor ain't all dry, the choir ain't off key, deacon all up in your videos, you need to come over to Death Row Baptist Church. Yeah, but you're right. And that has become a theme. And I actually, I read a lot of articles, and most of these articles are almost always written by like white people, white churches, and follow Twitter. Everybody is having an incredible fall off, with evangelism, save for, believe it or not, some white Pentecostal denominations, like Assemblies of God and different ones, but Southern Baptist Church, which was known for being like Great Commission, save souls, save souls, save souls, they have like cratered. And I think we also have to talk about, when we talk about outreach and evangelism and community engagement, the cultural and racial distinctions that exist. Because one of the struggles, I've said this for some years now, and it's truer now than ever before, Black churches and urban churches are struggling with changing cultures around them, where we didn't have to try to evangelize. Right. All you had to do was be there.
Be there, and they came.
If you just be there, the number of people, you run into anybody over the age 50 in our city, and there's probably a church or several churches like this in every city. You run into anybody over the age of maybe 60. 55 to 60, they will all tell you where they went to church growing up. They all went down to the whatever the closest church was near them, got baptized there, went to the VBS Children's Church. They remember Sister so-and-so. Now the culture is detached, and Black people, Black churches no longer get automatic attendees and engagement.
Right.
Christianity is not as friendly to Black culture. It's still the default, but it's not nearly engaged from the outside in as it once was. And so what it is we almost had let's just be us. We come together and be us. And it really wasn't it. As I told one of our buddies that used to do evangelism with us, the white guy, like, these people know who we are. They'll quote scriptures at us better. They're just making a decision whether they want to kind of be right or not.
And let me just say this, Pastor Todd. Having an outside service is not evangelism.
Oh my God. Can we? Matter of fact, it's aggravating. It's not even evangelism.
Having people blowing their horns at you
at 9 o'clock in the morning when somebody just got off the midnight shift.
That's not evangelism. That's annoying.
That is.
And I'm not knocking y'all who
that is harassment. That's what that is. That's a noise ordinance. You're about to call your councilman on you.
But here's the thing. One of the biggest cultural differences that I see is that for us, especially Black churches, especially in particular Black churches, when we talk about evangelism, the first thing we want to do is hit the hood. As if
come here, broke folk. You might just call it gutter gospel. As you look messed up. You on crack. I'm gonna be Judge Mathis tonight. I'm gonna say crack at least 15 times tonight. Since y'all like Judge Mathis so much. Yeah, you're right. And it's straight to the hood.
It's almost like, these upper echelon, or, like, you don't want to have nobody, like, you don't want to have a doctor in your church.
Dog,
or as if doctors don't need Jesus.
Man, all them rich folk, they going to super hell. They going to luxury hell. Listen, I'm gonna start vandalizing at Goldman Sachs and
they ain't got fire.
Right.
They got smoke. Just smoke. Just smoke.
They got glitter fire, Gucci fire. No, you're right. But yes, that's where the needs are. But honestly, what we're seeing is something that appears to be lesser than us. And that's why we're going there. Mm-hmm. And here's the crazy thing. We are going there not because we really want to get them God, but because we feel sorry for them and we think we are the answers to their problems. And it's really not about what we're preaching to them. We are convinced, and they won't say it, but we're convinced that we're showing them something that's better than what and who they are. And just by being there.
I'll even go further than that, Pastor Todd. I do agree with you, but I also believe that we believe that's who we can get. We believe that
it's our knowledge,
fruit. Right? Yes,
low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
Our knowledge that's what we know how to speak about. We know how to speak to them and tell them, if you come here, we'll make sure that we'll make sure you got bread. We'll make sure your bills and you pay.
You absolutely. But are we even evangelizing, or are we trying to buy people?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Marlon said I used to door knock with a bulletproof vest. Brother, listen, the time has come and is now here where they that evangelize got the gun up. No. But so there is a good turning point, Pastor Jeff. We need to understand the difference. And I use these three terms on purpose.
Okay.
The difference between outreach, evangelism, and I'll call a third category community engagement. I would describe it like this. Evangelism is an intentional effort to pull people in to the gospel, to the kingdom, and by extension, at some point, the Church of Jesus Christ, if not your own local church in the church. To me, outreach is pushing the love of God out.
Yes.
Into the world. Community engagement is another component a lot of people miss, and that would be being present in the world, allowing your influence and your love to be felt, even if you're not intentionally pushing out. And I feel like there's a pulling in, there's a pushing out, and then there's a presence. That's what I see. But too many people confuse what you just said. They'll say we did evangelism, and I'll say, no, you passed out bread to a bunch of strangers and went home.
Exactly.
Didn't even talk about the Bible, answer a question, didn't even have an intention, about it. And outreach is fine. Let's start with outreach. What is effective outreach? What is effective outreach to you? Because what are we doing? Everybody does a food giveaway. Mm-hmm. We did one a day, fun days for the kids. Get a blow up. We're going to do this, grill hot dogs. All that school supply giveaway. Listen, every child in Warren has at least 4 or 5 backpacks. They should be the biggest genius in the world. Giving away gas cards, outreach. Going and buying gas at the gas station, going to the grocery stores as we've done. Mm-hmm. That's outreach. Here's the funny thing that too many preachers don't realize. Outreach does not guarantee you anybody's coming in.
That's it.
Outreach, and you need to stop expecting it.
It doesn't.
And stop being mad. I literally had a guy say, I went out there and made some hot dogs. Didn't nobody come to church on Sunday. The hot dogs is not.
And here's the stop doing outreach for Facebook likes.
Oh my God.
Stop doing outreach for
selfies.
Yeah, for selfies and hearts and inboxes.
Comparison yourself to
and because the gas is high. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. You have to understand, what you really need to understand is most of these evangelical churches can do it better than you anyway.
They will do it, but listen.
Most of them gonna bring in they're going to bring in trains.
Oh, yeah. They've done it in our community. They're like come in with a whole circus train.
It's a savior complex, and then they're going to go right back to their...
Going down the street juggling and stuff. And having clowns. And
then what you have is your black constituents or your black...
There it is.
People in the community.
Looking at black churches.
Like, why y'all ain't do what they done? Well... We only got a budget
Negro, I got
$2,500.
I got one mic in this church. I'm trying to keep working. Are you serious? Are you serious? I got one mic from 1979. I'm trying to keep working. It's taped together. What do you want me to do? You know why? Because I'm working off y'all money. Shoot.
That's right. Exactly.
What I got to work with. So, your outreach is just simply showing the love, and it's something we should do. Jimmy said, not me. I'm trying to get to the Upper East Side saved to come to my church. I need new carpet. Listen, brother.
Amen.
And get that shag too. You deserve shag. Janet McFadden said, would it be safe to say Jesus taught in the temple, but he preached in the streets, on the highways and the byways? In a way, yeah. But honestly, there was nowhere else to be. So it's not like, I don't think Jesus was intentionally a street preacher. You have to remember, in that culture, if you ever been to other cultures, street market conversations are just how people converse, like being at a barbershop. You know what I mean? Like if he was living today, he'd just be kind of like, it would be Jesus sat down in the barber chair and said, blessed are the poor in spirit, because that's just where he happened to be. So I don't think, and I think sometimes people do, and I want to be very clear, street preaching is not evangelism.
It's not. And that's what I want to get to.
Because we try to equate the fact that he's on the road, and then they barely had houses, wasn't nowhere else to be. So people running around and like screaming at people on microphones or holding up sandwich boards like you're all going to hell. Repent or go to hell.
I want to, because I remember when I first got into ministry, still back in New Jerusalem, and I was doing a lot with Elder Jenkins. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, I think I'm an evangelist. He said, okay. He says, that's cool. He said, what is an evangelist?
Right.
Who are the evangelists in the Bible? Is there a difference between evangelist and evangelism? And I think a lot of us get those confused. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference. Please understand, there was only one evangelist in the Bible.
Talk about it.
Only one evangelist in the Bible. So when we don't understand those differences, and, just because you talk to somebody in the street does not make you an evangelist. You may have done a little bit of evangelism, but it doesn't make you an evangelist. Evangelists do this ongoing. Every day they're out and they're doing something. And I think most of us have gotten these things confused. So we don't have that. And I don't want to get into the whole fivefold ministry thing, because y'all know that's
sixfold now. It's inflation, so it's sixfold now. But in Joe Biden's economy, you need sixfold to have a church.
But the evangelist is literally probably, I would say he's lower than a teacher now.
Oh man, he's lower than the janitor now. I mean, he's lower.
Janitor. But apostles, prophets, teachers, janitors,
grass cutter,
pastors,
then the evangelist, after the guy that gives the pastor water.
Wow.
So evangelist, and I want to say that again. You said that so well. Like just talking to people on the street, which almost always becomes a debate, or we don't even recognize how uncomfortable that is for people. That's not in the Bible. Walking up on folk in the middle of the street and asking them, if you died today, do you know if you go to heaven or hell, is not in the Bible.
You know what is in the Bible? What? Lay your hands on no man's son.
Exactly. Stop making all these preachers and fake bishops. The idea of accosting people in public places, even what we call door to door, and we talk about he sent them 2 by 2. That even wasn't evangelism. The 2 by 2 scriptures were about them going out and doing miraculous works to prove, they were operating in the power of God. But we said, if you're going to go 2 by 2. And I believe, and again, it goes back to the engagement being present. But I believe that evangelism is a pressure tactic, and we don't want to admit it.
It is.
Because what are you endeavoring to do when you knock on someone's door or walk up to them, literally on the street? Even when you have Philip and the eunuch joined himself to Philip with questions.
Right.
Curiosity. Mm-hmm. Pastor, could you answer a few questions? I'm just curious. I read something. I saw something. I've heard about your faith. The idea that we have, but can I get real deep? You have to understand that our modern understanding of evangelism is directly tied to colonialism, directly tied to white domination, directly tied to one group of people trying to win over. And we try to act like we're winning them over when really, and even when you use word like win souls.
Right.
When you're winning souls, that means there's a loser.
Right.
You're trying to compete with some other religion. You're trying to compete with some culture. And God never called us to do that. And that's why even our tactics that even black churches use actually have a lot to do with what these folk was going around Europe to India and America and terrorizing folk, talking about get baptized or die.
Right.
Which doesn't sound much different than get saved or burn. Am I making this up?
No, you're right.
Telling the natives in America, get baptized or we're going to kill you. It sound any different than us literally almost in the first sentence of talking to somebody, get saved or burn. It's about domination. And that's not the way of Christ. Absolutely. Christ doesn't come to dominate. He joins himself to people. And by the way, if you notice, he almost has nothing to say about people who believe different. Nothing. Ancient Palestine, you have to remember, it was inhabited by Romans. Not one time did he turn around and call them heathens.
Right. Absolutely.
Not one time. And they were literally dominating the church, watching over the temple, doing all this stuff, pagan rituals, all this stuff going on. He talked to the people who were already supposed to be knowledgeable and who were out. But we have turned evangelism, and I just want to hone in on the evangelism part that's beyond outreach, which tracks, cartoon, comics, that decision stuff. Yeah. If Billy and Jimmy were walking down the street and Billy saw the preacher and he went to church and Jimmy didn't, and then they flash, but Billy's in heaven and Jimmy's in heaven. I mean, it's like,
hey, Doorman fans.
Right. Right.
Hey, Doorman fans. But here.
That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's our model. That's our model.
Absolutely.
Domination,
yeah.
Be like us. And the funny thing is, you can tell it is that way because when we evangelize, what we're really trying to do is acclimate them to our particular religious culture, not get them to come to their own belief in Jesus Christ.
Right.
We're actually trying to get them to mimic our behavior.
Right.
Come and be like us.
Right.
Come and do this. Even our prayers. How you can say, repeat after me.
Repeat after me.
Are you serious? Are you serious? How do you get saved? Say what I say.
And I think, Pastor Todd, in evangelism, one of the things that you have to be comfortable with is maybe, for lack of a better words, winning the soul, but not gaining a member.
Right.
And I think that's one of our biggest issues. It don't matter.
Did you get the soul? But if you do get the soul, you're not guaranteed a member.
Right. And you might not, they might not want to come to your church.
You're not entitled to them.
Right. You have to be comfortable with the fact that they accepted Jesus, but went to Second Baptist. You know what I mean?
You'll never know where they went.
Right.
If they go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
And there is an entitlement there.
Absolutely.
That if you, and I do believe it, and I believe that if a person, I would often say this, I had to kind of find a middle ground here. If you somehow, out of all of the places you could go and the things you could do and the habits you've had in life, if you somehow made it in this church, maybe that is a part of God speaking to you. Maybe if you're looking for a place to grow and develop. But at the same time, a certain caution should always be made from the jump that God should lead you and guide you where you want to be. Right. Because not only have we inflated our membership numbers, thinking that everybody who walked down the aisle or who responded to one of our tent services or outreach services, but this might play a part in Christian nationalism and the falsehood that America is a Christian nation, because we just count up the number of people we encountered in the streets and we call them converts because they said a prayer with us. And we did Billy Graham crusades and all the churches that were once filled with people. And instead of taking a critical eye at the number of people who are actually committed to Christ, we turn in number reports. Right. Like we're a bank, like we're a stock market. And that is feeding the mentality that if we've reached all these people, then this must be a Christian nation. Right. So if anybody else starts to show any other belief, then they're threatening our Christian nation that never really existed anyway, because you turn those people into a number. You've corporatized people instead of making them true converts and walking in relationship with them. And I've watched it because that's how churches report their numbers. Even our Baptist churches, I know they do it at SBC and other ones. They literally just report numbers every year.
Yep. Yes, sir.
How many people we touched? How many people we prayed for? How many people filled out a commitment card? How many people, filled this stadium? And then we equate that to conversion and commitment to Christ. And again, it's colonial. It's corporatizing. So now we have in our brains, look at all these Christians. If all these folk, and I've said it to my second board. Have you seen these books of all the people that have been baptized in this church? We should have a stadium by now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know there's 1,000 stories to how people's lives go. I get that. But I know that sounds like you're casting aspersions on people's faith, but some of these folk got to still be here. I mean,
absolutely.
Or did we just run through the numbers like a Christian meal, almost like a puppy meal? It's a Christian meal. You're just running people through. That's why, can we talk a little bit more about evangelism? Getting emotional folk to say the prayer of faith at a funeral is not evangelism.
Oh my gosh.
Getting emotional folk to pray a prayer with you while they are crying and screaming and mourning.
It's one of the absolute worst.
And we've all done a prayer of faith.
Yes.
But I don't sit here and pretend like these folk, if an imam or anybody, if Beelzebub's priest was doing the service, they would have said a prayer with him. And you crying enough over Pookie, you gonna pray with whoever's in front of you. And what do we say? I want 13 souls for the kingdom.
At the funeral. I
passed out 70 hot dogs. That's 70 souls. No, that's 70 hot dogs. With ringworm. They got ringworm now.
Because listen, we and I don't want to go because this may be a second thing.
Yeah.
But we have to go from evangelism to discipleship. So
there it is.
If you just stop at evangelism, you really haven't done anything.
Well, you have to get into the nitty gritty of people's lives and take time with
absolutely
them and stop doing church and do life together. And
we don't want to do life. We don't. And so here's the thing. For me, when Jesus stopped these disciples and when he got Peter and when he got John and when he got them, he said, come, I'm going to make you fishers of men.
No, he said, repeat after me. Dear Jesus, I am a sinner.
So what I'm saying,
into my heart.
And I'm going to say something that might sound strange to a whole lot of people.
Go ahead. I
have never in my 49 years of living, maybe once, maybe once have I ever been fishing.
Wow. You ain't black,
never been my thing. Never been my thing. But the thing is, what I do know,
Uncle Joe would say, you ain't black.
What I do know is that fishers are skilled.
Correct.
What I do know is there's a certain place in a certain time to catch certain fish.
Right, certain conditions.
What I do know is there's a certain bait that you have to use to catch a certain type of fish. What I do know is that, sometimes you got to fish at night. Sometimes you got to fish at day. Sometimes if this spot ain't jumping, you got to go to another spot and you have to know those type of spots.
Correct.
So being an evangelist is not just, going out willy-nilly, unskilled, going out just, doing what you think is doing. There has to be some type of strategy in which you're doing.
Correct. For effectiveness and to catch.
Yes.
And by the way, and there's a difference between fishing for sport.
Fishing and throwing it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Fishing for sport. And there's a lot, let's be honest. There's a lot of preachers and ministries that fish for sport.
Wow.
We're going to fill up this amphitheater, this tent, this stadium. We don't have anywhere to keep what we caught.
Can I tell?
And don't want to.
That's it.
Don't want to. And there was a ministry in this city that called itself an inner city ministry because they thought ministry to poor people was cool until they had to deal with poor folk problems.
Wow.
And they ended up out of this city in the suburbs somewhere at the mall. and they do that because it's consumeristic.
Now, can I tell one of your stories?
Yeah.
Can I tell one of your stories?
Tell the story. Tell it over again.
I'll let you say the name if you want to say the name.
Uh-huh.
But there was a church. There was a church that he went to, and they basically said, what they done was they hid chairs.
Yes.
They hid
chairs
in the closet, and then
they knew it wasn't enough from the get-go.
They knew it wasn't enough from the get-go. And then they bring the chairs out. Like, look, we got to bring chairs out.
Look at how many people are here. And that would impress. That was designed to impress. It was to invigorate the members and impress the visitors. And look at how this and that. Let's go back let's push on that. Evangelism is not impressing people.
Wow, that's it.
Evangelism is not, look how great our choir is. Look how wonderful our pastor is. It's sometimes I've watched this. I've even watched this when I've preached. Even as a young man, we do tent revivals. Elder Sheely, I had a conversation with him today. It'd be funny watching the saints look at these sinners, because you always can tell who's who. Like, ain't he preaching good? Y'all ought to be down there right now. Boy, he going, no, I'm good to you. This is your flavor. And the fact that you are playing as if I'm some kind of performer is actually more off-putting. Because just because I'm hooping and hollering the way you like it doesn't mean it's actually touching that brother.
That's right.
Who kind of snuck in off the corner. And I get it. I want to touch him. And I'm going to do it the way I do. I preach the way I preach. But I see like a look of expectation from the saint side. Like, I can't believe y'all ain't getting with this. You ain't got nowhere else to go. This your whole life. Church is your life. You couldn't find a boyfriend if you wanted to. So you act like everybody else supposed to be up in here. But you have to understand that everybody's, like you said about the poverty thing, everybody's not miserable.
Right.
And just waiting for the next miracle worker to give them a quick answer in a 20-minute outdoor sermon. And I do mean outdoors. I mean taking the choir outside and saying we're going to the world. No, you're trying to impress the people. Can I go one more step further? Evangelism is not a concert. And a lot of the modern church has replaced real evangelism and reaching the world with a slick production that really only church folk are impressed by. Right. And secondly, if people don't go to church and then they go to that concert and they see the lights and the smoke and the screens, sooner or later they're going to come to your church and realize the lights and the smoke and the screens are gone. And you haven't taught them what it really means to follow Jesus. You taught them what it was to enjoy Kurt Franklin.
Right. That's it.
Who wouldn't? Yeah, I can go to a country concert to be country for a night if it's slamming enough. That don't mean I'm ever going to listen to another country album, buy a pickup truck, wear overalls, me and my Chevy, buy a dog, leave my wife. I'm not doing none of that because it's not my life. So we're like creating this thing where look at how great this is and we are. And we get mad when the world's not impressed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and can I piggyback on that? Can I piggyback on that?
Yes, sir.
Evangelism is not dressing like them, becoming them.
Take your skinny jeans
doing
off.
A dance like them, wearing your hat backwards.
Pastor, you're 78. Pastor, you're 78.
You don't have to become them to win.
Take those stonewashed jeans off. Nobody. Matter of fact, more people would just rather the preacher just be the preacher. The banker's the banker. The policeman's the policeman. I'm not saying be gaudy and over the top like your millionaire bishop friend in New York. The Gucci robes and stuff. But if you think just quoting rap songs or saying edgy stuff or trying to lie, I'm just like you.
Right.
Telling some horror story that's probably a half lie, how you've been shot and all this other stuff. It's not. And by the way, telling your story is not evangelism. Evangelism is sharing the gospel.
That's
because we like to tell your testimony. And some of these cats, I listened to one dude. He was testifying. It was like an outdoor service. He was like, man, I was out there selling dope, man. I had thousands of dollars every day. I had all the honeys. I had all the cars. I'm like, well, when you gonna get to the part where you got saved?
Yeah, testimony. They testimony about their past be 12 minutes.
And after a while, right, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. And then I got saved. Amen.
I slept with your mom, and I used to hit that. And then the kid's like, yo, I think I want to be in his gang. but yeah, I mean, we have this, and I'm sorry, and I can't even say I've wrapped my head all around how we should do this, but I can tell you that our culture and our modern expectations have wildly skewed what we call evangelism.
Absolutely.
And outreach. And I put a hashtag on this thing that we did today with this water thing. And I said, having fun is a ministry.
Yeah.
I just put that on there. I just put it as a hashtag. And it was like a little, having fun is a ministry. Because I know there are some people out there that'll look at it and say, well, nobody got saved. Y'all just ran around and got the kids wet. I'm like, yeah, but think about how horrific our world is.
Right.
Think of how traumatic. Think of how many people lack just positive spaces and a place to have peace and joy and be valued and loved and all of that. So to me, giving a young person who I know does live in that neighborhood where there might not be as much, that matters. But it also matters, like you said, the discipleship part. Absolutely. That I'm not going to snow cone you to death, and I'm not going to hot dog you to death. We're going to get you in children's church where you are loved and getting a lesson and learning the basic precepts of the Bible and really life lessons on how to live. Because, at that age, the stories we're teaching, I don't care if it's the bravery of David or it's Samson and Delilah and temptation or whatever. We're teaching you how to live. But let's talk about the last element here, Pastor Jeff. Let's talk about what I talked about, community engagement. And I would describe that as strategic partnerships.
Absolutely.
Social advocacy, and being a present influence and impact outside the church without doing church.
Yes.
Being a present influence and impact outside the church without doing church. I'm not here to preach a sermon, sing a song, or even introduce myself solely as my title and my function. You might call me Pastor Todd, but I'm not there for church. I'm here just to be here.
And let me say this about that. When you're talking about community advocacy, listen, I'm not concerned whether you're Baptist.
Right.
I'm not even concerned whether you're Muslim.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get that confused. You working with, listen, I'm not here as Pastor Jeff. I'm here because there are people in the community whose lives are at stake. I'm here in the community because there are social inequities that are being done.
Correct.
And if this person may have a way in, and I have to learn to put my selfish innuendos to the side to meet the needs of the people in the community.
Thank you. And you know what? It is not a compromise of your convictions that the love of God in you and the fire and even God's sense of justice living through you causes you to work in compassion and advocacy ministries that may not directly reflect the doctrine of your church.
Exactly.
And if you've never read the story of the Good Samaritan, you might want to check it out.
Come on, sir. Yes, sir.
Because the issue wasn't what they believed. The issue was who was willing to help.
That's it.
So when people say, I can't believe you're on that board with the Muslims, I can't believe you're on that interfaith committee. And folks, and see, again, it goes back to that domination, colonialism stuff. It's a competition. I've literally watched people feel like if I'm in a room with a Muslim or a Jew or a Buddhist, I gotta plead the blood of Jesus. Their demons are gonna jump on me. If they get up and say they're little blessed, I gotta rebuke it under my breath. I'm like, are you serious? How insecure is your salvation?
Exactly. How
insecure is your faith? As if Jesus and the disciples and the apostles did not operate in a multicultural, multi-religious world and society. And just because the epistles and the gospels are about mostly Jews and Christians, they were not living in a Jewish and Christian society. They were going to market. They were going to feasts. They were watching political turmoil and other countries take them over. And they had to be around that at all times. And it's just reality. I told y'all the story about being in Israel when we went to the Jerusalem, and you're right there in the center of three religions. And the Muslims have the mount. They have the mount.
Right.
We got a little piece of wall. They have the mount with the dome on it. And they do the Muslim call to prayer, and it comes over the speaker. And I'm sitting there on the rooftop of this building across the way from the what they call the Wailing Wall, really the Western Wall. And they play the Muslim call to prayer. And there's these speakers outside, little horn speakers outside. They play the little chant or whatever it is. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. It's just crazy to be another culture. Wow. The dude next to me, who is a white conservative evangelical, literally starts screaming, Jesus, the blood of Jesus, we're not going to let you conquer us. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Jesus is probably laughing at you right now. Right. Like, Negro, be quiet.
Shut up. Right.
Let these folk pray. We're not called to forcefully stop people from believing in what they believe. But I want to get back to the presence part. Funny thing is, a lot of what pastors and churches think, and we're going to talk real practical, a lot of what pastors and churches think should bring people into the church by what they do inside, they don't realize just the power of their presence outside. And those of us who frequently get visitors and people who engage us, follow us on Facebook or come to our churches, it's usually not because we preached better than the guy down the street.
That's right.
Or the songs our choir sang were better. It's because they were familiar with us. And they felt the concern and the everyday relevancy of our lives as a Christian, as a minister. They know we're in their kids' school. They know we're out on the ball field.
Absolutely.
They see us walking down the street. They see us showing up to the banquets or the advocacy programs. We're just there. And by us being there with them, motivates them to want to be with us.
Absolutely.
And if you want to know what the secret sauce is, it's simply being present.
Being present.
Meeting the culture. I'm not talking about going. I don't have to go to the bar and act crazy. I don't have to do this. Literally just be it's a joke, and I don't really talk about it much. But the running line is, everybody knows Pastor Todd. It's just the way it goes. Somebody said to my wife, like somebody literally said, this is so funny. I'm going to tell this joke. I hope Shamika's watching. Shamika works with a young lady, and she's been to our church a couple of times. And somehow the subject came up at their office where they work. What would it be like to be married to a celebrity? Would it be cool? Would it be cool? Would it be cool? And the girl looked at Shamika. She knows and says, but Shamika, you are. Like everybody knows your husband, and I just that. But there's a reason for that. And there's a reason that you can be preaching for 50 years in the city and nobody know who you are. And it's not because you're not a good enough expositor of the word. It's because you never took the time to be an everyday guy at the park. And then when you go to the park, God help me with some of y'all saints, you literally run from the world and try your best to avoid everybody and everything. How about you just walk up and say hi, smile?
You got to be so deep at the park.
Dude, grab a football and throw it at a kid or something. Do something.
Why'd you walk around the park speaking in tongues?
Stop. Put your long skirt on. It's 97 degrees outside. You got that long jean skirt on with white tennis shoes. We know you're apostolic. My bad, apostolic friends. We know you sanctified. We get it. You don't have to overdo it. We don't. You can just say hello. If somebody asks you how you're doing or what you did this weekend, it doesn't always have to be just church. You can watch football. Cheerleaders won't send you to hell in the Budweiser. You can have a basic conversation. And I'm telling you, the biggest thing that people are missing these days is the power of presence. Being present. I walk my neighborhood, and I'm telling you, I'm being serious. I am not walking around praying that the walls come down and the demons. Walking. I'm just walking.
Saying hi.
I'm probably listening to Tupac while you're playing in my earpods. But I mean, the presence matters, and presence has created opportunities for prayer. Presence just recently brought a member of that used to go to our church back to our church. You've been walking by my house, and she's an older lady. And she had been to church in some years. I ain't gonna keep seeing you walk by my house, and I don't come back to church. It's that simple. That simple. So, and it's funny watching pastors miss that. Watching churches refuse to get engaged. The basketball program. I want to shout out Pastor Jeff. We had 2 pastors come, but I'll be honest, it took 2 months for just 2 pastors in our city beside ourselves to come to a basketball program where dozens of young Black men are twice a week. And you got the nerve to invite me to a meeting talking about we need to reach these kids? Are you for real? I'm sorry, I'm indignant, and I'm not trying to be smart about it, but I'm like, there they are.
And you're not that busy. Nobody is that busy.
The kids, come eat the catfish. You know what I'm saying? And so it's that simple. Say it again,
Nobody's that busy.
Nobody's that busy.
Nobody's that busy.
I know you ain't busy. You ain't even getting invited to preach nowhere. You don't even have an itinerary. What are you doing with yourself?
No, they making the itinerary.
No, they are the itinerary.
They make an itinerary and put it on Facebook. I am available.
I'm available for booking.
Yeah, you're available because you ain't at the basketball camp with the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're available because you ain't walking the streets. Yeah, you're available because you ain't,
I'm waiting for the next conference and revival and shift the atmosphere.
But that's
our talk.
It's part of, and it's not being an evangelist, but it's part of evangelism.
Thank you.
These type of things, going out, whether it be to the schools. And listen, let me say this. When you get to the school, you are not at the school to be the preacher. You're not at the school to be the preacher.
Leave these kids alone.
Just go up there and show your face.
Be nice.
They're happy just to see you. Go to the football game and don't try to be,
Take your tie off.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself because I wear it all the time.
Well, I mean,
with your
these
whole
little
collar,
things, yes.
with your whole bishop's hat on and everything. Let that go. You know what? I want to hear from you guys. Sister Janet had a question. We're going to talk about that. But what are you tired of churches doing? Give us some bad examples. Come on, give us some feedback, some talk back. What are you tired of seeing churches do in the evangelism space, the outreach space? What would you rather? And be honest, it might be something we're doing. Might be something you might offend and say, Pastor, I'm tired of y'all doing water wars out there having wet t-shirt contests after church. Jeanette asked, Pastor, is there a difference between those who we go after and those who he sends to us? You know, again, I love that question. I think that those, honestly, are supposed to be one and the same.
It should be. I
think that God has prepared people to receive what we have to offer. So we're not just blindly going after. It's almost like, reminds me, remember you used to have your homeboy or even a female friend kind of find out if a person would even be interested in you before you even just go blindly at it. You got somebody that's close to me, like, hey, you can ask Jasmine if she's right. It's like God does that. We talk about God preparing hearts,
right?
And I feel like just blindly going after people is unwise and, quite frankly, probably unbiblical. Because we talk about go after.
Can I answer that kind of biblically a little bit?
Yeah.
We see where Peter and them is on the boat.
They're on the boat.
And they let down their net. They catch nothing. Toil all night.
It is.
What he says, let your net down. What on the other side? I mean, it's the same boat, and these boats weren't big.
Right.
All they did was went from one side to the other side. The people we went after, and the people God sent us.
And I want to use that analogy, not to contradict what you said about the hooks and the bait and that, but what we call fishing in the Bible days was a far more passive endeavor. It was lay them down and let the fish just come in.
That's it.
Lay them down and let the fish come in. And we trying to like spiritual, you know what I mean? we over here trying to blow them up with Bible bombs and stuff. So I think that there's a such thing as, but I really do have a problem with the whole go after mentality. When, and we use the lingo, but I think you have to be careful what you really mean when you say.
And I think that's part of understanding evangelism. I think that's why, once again, we go to the hood, because how do you go after somebody who's literally a millionaire
driving a Bentley? I mean, right.
How do you go tell them you need Jesus? No, right. You need a new car.
Right, exactly.
that thing, matter of fact, after y'all get done, you might have to ask them for a jump.
Exactly. You need better investments.
So there's a conversation that has to be had.
Relationship.
There's a relationship.
A light that should be seen. Let your light so shine.
That's it.
And we don't want to do that as much, or we don't trust it as much. It's almost like we don't trust God, so we have to become Rambo mercenaries who go out and slice and dice the enemy and do all this other stuff. And it's a dangerous mentality to carry. I want to hear from you all in the next 10 minutes. Best and worst outreach and evangelism you've seen from churches. You don't have to name the church, but best and worst. I'll give one of my worst outreach and evangelism examples. Is when a church does an outside or outdoor service that is really just an indoor service in a tent.
That's it.
You have nothing to say to the people that might be listening to you. You're behaving exactly the same way. It's almost like you just brought the country club outside for a minute, and the people don't feel any more welcome because you are under a circus tent for the night. They don't feel any more welcome or a part. And, you just think that if I just get out here and make noise, which, by the way, I can't say this enough, I'm almost to the point where I'll probably do most of what we do in public spaces, because this whole either getting up in the morning and having morning service, or night service, and you have a revival until 11, 12 o'clock at night. People try to sleep.
You ain't get saved. You got bit by a mosquito.
Right. You got monkeypox. So give us your best. Okay, Big Mike says, shouldn't be more about what you do. So shouldn't it be more about what you do versus what you say? I agree. I agree. It should be less talk, more action.
Absolutely.
But to be clear, though, the gospel is spoken.
It's spoken, and you have to say something. But it's what you say and how you say it.
Correct.
Once again, I say it, and I mean it all the time. You can't get good meat out of a mad cow. It's just doesn't happen. You have to, there has to be some type of compassion. By loving kindness have I drawn thee. These are things that, these are attributes that evangelists have to have. And it's,
or even if you have a heart for other people, you just have to have, walk with kindness. Because trust me, and I've seen this, and we talked about this with preachers, worship leaders, people who feel called to evangelism and outreach. People watch you when you're not doing your church stuff.
Absolutely.
So nobody cares how kind you are for the 2 hours when you were handing out, hot dogs and book bags. What about when you get back in your car and you're nasty and got road rage 2 seconds later?
Mm-hmm.
Or you drive out of that neighborhood as fast as you can and lock all your doors and don't want to be bothered with these people because you really do think they're beneath you.
How about just doing some simple things, real simple things, such as you at Giant Eagle and you see a lady, she done putting her groceries away.
Knock her down and steal her purse.
Grab the cart. Grab the cart and just say, let me take this cart.
That's the other podcast.
You know what I mean?
Let me help you out.
Little things are so significant. When people see, whether it's myself, Pastor Todd, at the football games, sitting there enjoying a football game with everybody else, it's just little things that can make such a huge difference.
Absolutely. And that's so true. People look for and they remember the little thing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we will waste our time and our money doing these giant blowout events that are so forgettable. To be honest, I say all the time, you cannot compete with the spectacle of the world, the church. And again, I'm not trying to play bitter, but we cannot compete with the spectacle that is everyday life now. Right. If you think you're going to fireworks people into the kingdom, it's not going to happen. I like what Sister Janet said about the ghetto versus the elite mentality of ministry. It's a different dialogue. That is very true. It's a different, and when we say ghetto elite, we're just being very plain about it. Different people are in different stations of life and should have different conversations. And by the way, punching on that theme, Pastor Jeff, when all we do is play on people in brokenness, we don't know how to speak the language of other cultures and other social economic, statuses and because all we know is, ghetto single mama, black boy going the wrong direction, this one addicted to this. And so we don't even hone our skills in having an everyday conversation with the guy who owns a business, or the person who's worked in corporate America.
Absolutely.
We don't know how to function with them. Thank you, Sister Callie, as one of our members. It really is the disposition of the saints, how we carry ourselves. What is our character? She gave my preaching points today. It's preaching points. Thank you. Let you know somebody's listening. But it's the disposition. No matter what your position, as I said today, what really matters is your disposition. What is the attitude, the character that you're exhibiting? And people, I've said this before. I told you I get aggravated with people, even in worship, singing. Like, if you are just in love with Jesus, as long as you're the one singing or preaching, you're only hooping and hollering and excited when you're the one, and we are like, I actually watch you more when you sit down than when you're standing up. How do you behave when somebody else is talking? Or how do you behave when you're just out every day? Do you speak to people, or do you clam up into your little clique as if you can't be common with other people? It matters, man. And it matters.
And it's so many people who know you that you do not. I was at the bank yesterday, came out, and young lady, is that your Pastor Jeff, ain't you? Yeah, but she needed a jump. It's all good. I gave her a jump. But the fact, I didn't know her. And it's just people who just know you.
Man, I had a dude stop me at the mall today. He said, "You're Pastor Todd." And literally within 3 minutes, he wanted me to do a civil rights march on Coles. He was like, "We need to deal with this racism." I'm like, bro, I came for like some shoes. I did not come here to fight the power.
And real quick, before we get off, I gotta hit on this.
Hit on it.
Listen, if you call yourself wanting to be an evangelist,
if you call yourself
wanting to do outreach and outdoor, please make sure you're saved all the way.
Please.
I've seen too many people
get to cussing.
Not even get to cussing, but get in trouble.
Oh, listen.
Get divorced.
I'm doing in-home ministry.
Right. You go knock on somebody's door, somebody come
in a negligee.
Right. It's happened.
Oh, it does.
is happening. And you know,
it does. And house visits, Doc.
And you cannot just be saved from the waist up and not the waist down.
Thank you, Pastor Jeff. Thank you.
You gotta be saved for real. Because
right.
I mean,
so we're talking about what that mouth is. My members watch this show. I need to stop.
Somebody better get a Joseph spirit.
And by the way, you're not evangelizing at the bar. You went to a bar.
Yeah.
You went to a bar. Those people aren't going to be in the bar forever. You could have talked to them somewhere else.
You could have waited. 12 o'clock at night.
And you went on twerk night.
Right.
You went to twerk fest.
Right. So if you hear last call for alcohol, you're
in the wrong place.
You are not evangelizing.
Man. Strippers go shopping too. You don't have to go to their place.
Talk about. All we doing is dance. Ain't nothing wrong with dance. I'm dancing in the Lord.
I brought my own communion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. And even on the street, if you don't have, I don't care if it's outreach, evangelism, or presence, and we're going, y'all. If you don't have patience, a cool demeanor, don't know how to deal with opposition, and we haven't talked about it a lot because I didn't want to go to this spot, but let's just go just 30 seconds. It's if you're not spiritually sensitive.
Right.
Because some of you need to know when to back off. And by the way, and no, you're not called to run around and play, I aggravated and conjured up a demon, and now I want to play exorcist in the middle of the street somewhere now. Now I got folks throwing up on the street corner. They were just waiting for the bus. And now, we doing all this stuff, getting sheets and stuff. And I'm sorry. Again, that is not biblical. Just right now, if you come across a disturbed person, you got the power of God in you. No doubt. If you come across somebody evident, but if you literally just walking up on a normal person eating a sandwich, talking about I sense something, you need to calm down. And
be careful of other folks calling you out to get involved in their mess
and other stuff. Right, Pastor, come over here and help. Nah, you got that handled, Doc. You started this parking lot ministry. I'm getting in my car.
Right.
Y'all over here running around outside Walmart. No. So, I mean, I just think there's so much to consider. We want to continue to hear from you guys. Leave your comments, best and worst outreach and evangelism experiences. I had a minister in our church once while we were doing a tent service, go out on the street and start talking to a guy. They ended up in a Bible debate and the minister lost the debate.
It happens all too often.
He didn't know his Bible. He lost the debate. The Muslim dude won.
It's like a dance battle.
Minister came back like, assalamu alaikum. You got to know your Bible. At least know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Know what you're talking about. Anything else you want to add, Pastor Jeff?
This is a great conversation, man. I loved it, man. Just, make sure y'all know, like you said, make sure y'all know, especially if you're trying to do that jail ministry, because they be ready, dog.
Oh, listen.
They be ready. You got some fresh blood in jail, they will eat you up.
They will shout and shank you. You better be ready. Absolutely. But there's so much more work to do. Let's see. Jimmy says, I've seen people go up to people in public and claim they're going to heal. That, thank you, because they have the gift of healing. They lay hands on them and pray and don't let them go away until they say they feel better. Absolutely. And limping, still in the wheelchair.
Right.
Now you got them trying to limp away without their cane. They're gonna sue you. They're gonna be back at the doctor next week. I need a knee replacement. No, that's absolutely right. I mean, you got to watch these antics, man, because they're a bad witness on the church. It's a bad witness. But we appreciate you all tuning in. Sunday night service, another edition. We appreciate all of our viewers, all of you watching. Continue to like, share, comment. You can keep the discussion going even after the show is over. I will log back on just to argue with you. I mean, I'm petty like that. We're petty like that.
I'm going home to do some of that knee ministry.
There it is. If you call on Jesus.
Yeah.
Listen, so it's been real. It's been a great day. Don't forget to follow us, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I forgot one. Twitter. Yeah, nobody follows on Twitter, but follow us on all that stuff. How do I get a shirt? Jimmy Davis is a frequent commenter. We need to get him a shirt. Find him on the website. We'll hook you up, Jimmy. I'll reach out to you. We'll get you a shirt.
We're going to get you a shirt.
We're going to hook you up, Pastor Jimmy. We appreciate you watching. Appreciate you being on. Until next time, brothers and sisters, God bless. Take care. God be with you.